comments? Yes. All right, welcome back. We are on item 2.5, the Buffalo Beach Homeowners Wall, which is page 38 of your order paper. And who's talking to this one? Alan.
Yeah, so through you, Madam Chair. So since the last meeting when this was discussed and we had some presentations in the public forum, we followed up on it and had further discussions with the planning consultant that's representing the homeowners, and reached a conclusion as per the recommendation that's set out for you there. So our understanding is that option, that recommendation, is one that would be acceptable to the homeowners, and we're just recommending accordingly. So if anyone on page 43, attachment B, is the map that sets out the route of the walking path, as agreed. So you see there for the bulk of the area where the wall is in front of the properties, that goes out the access way and along Buffalo Beach Road and comes back in the next access way, and then continues on down towards Hooker Reserve. And at this point in time, we believe there will be sufficient room there for a walkway to be constructed without it having to go on the actual wall. But there's some detailed design still needed around that. But at this point in time, it looks like that's achievable.
Okay. All right. So our resolutions are on. You don't have any comments?
Sorry, just to clarify that, you were saying that at no stage will we be involved in building a wall in front.
The council, no, there's no council involvement in respect of the actual wall itself.
Okay, so the two little access ones will be the prime pedestrian route if they choose not to use the beach.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
But we're building the stairs.
No.
They have to.
That's part of the construction of the wall.
Right, thank you.
No, you're happy?
Well,
Yeah.
it's simply if you're in front of a homeowner's land, you're on the beach, and if you're on our land, you're on a wall. So I think that's what we always said should happen, and it's happening.
Okay. Yeah.
So any erosion that occurs is no longer council's issue?
Well, it will. The wall will be there
Yes.
to stop from any further erosion.
Yes.
The erosion's not our issue now. This is for the homeowners, their property, and the homeowners are paying to do it. So the erosion's not our problem.
Okay, that's just want to be absolutely certain on that. History has a nasty habit of bouncing back.
It does.
Right, we can get a mover and receiver. No. Can I get a mover and a seconder for thank you, Dally, seconded by Tony. All those in favour?
Aye.
Opposed? None, carried. Okay, great.
So that puts that to bed, doesn't it?
Yes, it should be.
It should be.
That should be the
Great.
writing up of that.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
So there will be just when the thing actually progresses and when they get their resource consent, should qualify that if any issues arise out of the conditions of consent from their resource consent, I'm sure they would come back to us. They should be, as far as we're aware. And at that point, then we would enter into a formal licence to occupy, or at least one of the two, with the homeowners, between council and the homeowners still need to build the wall on our land.
Okay,
Okay.
right. So we're now on to item 2.6, which is our correspondence report, page 47. And there's lots of it. I imagine Heather.
Well, there's a little bit more than when I wrote the report, which says there's nothing.
Yes.
So I have, you have potentially received all but the Wendy Ward one, which I've printed out for you all.
Yep.
So there's Wendy Ward, there's covering letter and a little booklet with the pictures there. There's also a thank you from the Wharekaho and Simpson Beach Ratepayers Association, thanking everyone for their work on the long-term plan submission, which you've all got a copy.
I don't have a copy.
Okay, there's a little pile of,
No, I don't.
yes, yeah, no,
No, I don't have a
you
little.
do now, you do.
We can
Thank you.
share if you want. You and I. We can share.
That's fine. And there was a couple that just came in at the last minute from a Mr. Phoebe. And one of them was in regards to a request for, funding for the, so we believe the Mercury Bay Business Association membership should be paid for or funded by the TCDC commission. So have you got a copy of that?
No, I haven't got any of that.
Oh, very.
Nothing.
It came through an email.
It came
Yeah,
from
we-
an email.
No, I didn't download it.
Okay.
Okay,
I do apologise.
but you have got a copy on email.
I will have you.
So there's a request there from the Mercury Bay Business Association for, TCDC to pay the membership fee to that, body. And there was also another one that came through quite late, and Bill, you will have this one on your emails as well, from Terry Bibby as well, that the new Christmas lights be budgeted for the tree in Soldiers Memorial Park.
Yeah. Okay.
The existing ones are failing. It's a great tree in an excellent location for a small investment. They can make the tree a focal point. So,
Can we maybe ask them to apply for a grant?
you certainly could do that.
Yeah, that might be a good way to tidy that one up.
Which one's that?
The tree, the lights for the tree that, yeah, that might be a tidier way for that to come in.
So, Madam Chair, there's that other, business group, weren't they going to have a tree that they're going to call them for the tree or something?
I don't think we've had anything come through formally.
Former tree deli, ever. But there is a tree at 8 metre one that is going to be lit, going up. And the business association also talking about one, because I'm aware they've ordered one as well.
But no one has come to
It's
this
not the Mercury Bay.
board looking
No,
for,
there's two.
No, it's
The
the
Mercury Bay former as one organisation amongst a group of people are going to fund a tree, which is going to be given to the community, nothing to do with the former. The business association have also gone out and ordered a tree that we don't know much about. And this one here, the lights to go in the thing of Soldiers Memorial, so the more lights, the better.
yes, I don't have any answers because we haven't had anything come through. Don't recall anything coming
We
through
had
this
two
board.
trees now.
Well, the answers I don't know. The one I know categorically about is one that I personally made a contribution towards, for a community tree. I know about that one.
I know.
Subsequently, I've heard that the business association have also gone out to go and order a tree, but I'm only hearing that.
Yeah, so
And
we
the other tree
don't,
this one.
we don't need to debate hearsay here. We'll just wait till we hear
This one,
something
they apply for a
official.
grant for lights and do it.
I just think it's relevant in terms of who are we giving
Trees.
money to
Yeah.
and what are we supporting?
So the board are clear that I would go back to Mr. Bibby about the Christmas lights on Memorial Park only
That's right.
and ask them to apply for a grant.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's lights in there now, but they don't need to stay there for Christmas. They're up now, the lights in Memorial Park.
Yes, it was quite a mission to put them up and down, but they stayed.
We leave them there all year round.
Yeah, which is fantastic, yeah, and if they, yeah, they do, they look really
Well,
good,
we
so,
probably should, as a background for the grants, we should find out who's doing what with which tree.
I think so, I think it's quite.
And then we know
important.
exactly where we're putting money to.
The one that other group's got, and aren't asking for grants, the other by private donation. They're not coming to us to say, can you light our tree up?
the other thing for the
It's
correspondence,
been going a long while and it's set up, it's not like a tag on the second one. It would just be-
well, I thought Kirsten might be here because she may know something more from an events or, you know. they know.
Madam Chair, that's not relevant to.
Yes, that,
No.
what I was, no,
Must accept the correspondence.
yes, right. I just had one other thing, which was the letter that came from, with the petition that came just at 8:30 last night. I don't know if you've seen it, but I need to forward it to you.
Okay.
That came with a copy of the petition.
Forward it to her.
Oh,
Yeah, and just give that to John.
okay, all right, okay,
So so we're only receiving this request from the business association?
yeah,
It's the correspondence.
Okay,
yes.
and no action.
Other than the one.
Do we want to talk about this?
Well, I do. I don't support it in any shape or form.
The submission for,
Well, you might as well have the same thing applying if it goes to
Discussion now.
okay,
the, Mercury Bay, the Woodie, Railway Association. It's only an order. This is a business association. They should pay their own way.
Absolutely.
okay. So we're just going to, accept the correspondence report at this stage. So I need a mover and a seconder to accept the report. Thank you, Jeremy. Bill, thank you. Okay. All those in favour?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Carried. Okay. Moving along. Take any copies of those that you need. Okay, fantastic. Item 3.1 on page 48, which is the Scouts Association sublease to the Whirianga Men's Shed and Lions Club at 90 Maiwai Park Road. Not Maiwai Road. I understand we've got Nicole online.
Good morning.
May I have a mover and seconder for the report, please? Moved by Tony, seconded by Jeremy. Is there any discussion? Yeah, so mine. All those in favour?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Carried. Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.
Item 4.1, which is
Took so long.
the proposed road names, stages 3 and 4 at the Beaches Development in Matarangi.
Okay.
We've got Jane online.
And we have Jane. Welcome, Jane.
What page are we on now?
Page 52. Oh.
52.
Right. A mover and seconder for the report, please. Moved by Bill, seconded by Tony. Any discussion? I really like them. I accept them. The road number 2, I like Hamiora Street better than Sandspit Road.
I agree.
You agree, Delhi?
Yeah.
Tony agrees? Yep. Okay, so other than our suggestion should go for option 2 for road number 2. Everyone's comfortable with the rest?
Yep.
You've got that, Donna? Fantastic. All those in favour? Opposed? None. Carried. Which brings us to item 4.2 on page 55, which is our work programme. Welcome, Bruce. Oh, thank you, Jane.
Good morning, board. This is the last work program report for this financial year, the financial year we've just ended. So it's, as usual, there's always a bit of a delay in the process around the getting their reports on the agenda. So you'll see this is as the 31st of May. So obviously there are a few there that will have still been invoices coming in. There'll still be some invoices coming in now. Everything's got to be in by the 20th of July to be in the 2021. Yeah, but yeah, overall, things seem to have managed fairly well through the year. There's a few challenges still ahead, but overall, I'm happy and comfortable with the way things went, and I'm happy to take any questions on any of these.
I didn't have any, didn't I? Any questions? Oh, do you know when the artwork is going to go in at Taylor's Mistake?
I wish I did. Ellen would know. I'm not sure if Ellen's closer to the finger on the pulse with that, with Andrew Scobie. I'm not sure.
Will it be before summer?
I have to say we don't know. Yeah, we're still working through detail with that, with the artist and.
So they've not been made?
Well, no, they're all, I think they're mostly made. I'm not totally up to speed.
Okay.
I thought
You know more than I do.
I thought they were completed and then we're going to store them and then it's just the construction.
Right.
That was my understanding. I could be wrong.
Could come back to the budget issue.
Okay.
Yeah, we can address that. We'll sign like we need to.
Yeah, I think they went through the last council meeting though, because it's a bit complicated. It was last financial year, so it's going to need to be carried forward now.
Yeah, so obviously there's a number of projects and this could be one of them where they'll need carry forwards, and so we'll do that. Once we've closed out the end of the financial year and you know how much budget you had left and what work you still need to do about how you carry forward. I'm normally pretty strict on not carrying forward stuff unless we really need to. It's just a bad habit to get into, sliding things across the end of the financial year. But if there's valid work that still needs to be delivered and wasn't delivered in the 2021 year, then that makes sense. So they'll go to council probably in August sometime, I would suggest.
Okay, thank you.
I've got a question through the chair that you might not be able to answer, but it's actually the final item. It's the museum management agreement. I'm just wondering, I haven't heard anything since I had, was it Mr. Jackman about the board and the sort of fraught management situation that was there. Is there any feedback on that?
Yeah, so we, Heather and I, and Heather as well versed on this, so she'll be able to carry on with it when I've disappeared. We've been meeting on a regular basis with the museum manager and the secretary of the museum trust. And we are negotiating our way through an agreement. I think we've almost got to the stage it's finalised. The museum board is having a special meeting tomorrow to consider the latest version of the agreement. So we had another meeting. The last meeting was last week, and there was a few outstanding issues that I think, well, between the staff, we think we got it nailed, but it's still dependent on the trust board. So, but then once they approve it, we'll need to come back to this board for you to approve it.
So are they looking at democratically electing members, or you can divulge that information?
No, I'd rather not comment on that.
Okay.
Public meeting at this stage.
No, fine. Brilliant. Thank you.
Right, any other comments or questions of Bruce?
Good Lord.
Really
Get away with it.
appreciate it.
He's going to get away with it, yeah.
It's really easy to read.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you right?
Yeah, sorry.
You're not really.
Okay, a mover and a seconder for the report then, please. With Tony, Jeremy, all those in favour? Opposed? None carried. Thank you. That's got to be the easiest one yet. Right, so that takes us to our action schedule, item 5.1. Oh, I have some questions here. I've had a conversation with the Hotwood Beach lifeguards around that very one right there. This one here. Have we got an update for them? Have we kind of had any?
Which one?
Which one?
Sorry, they are wanting donations to be set up from their pay and display. We're on page 61.
So I have briefly talked to our finance team about how that could be managed.
Oh, yeah.
If we have the appetite to do that, how the actual, taking money for another group through a parking machine and then how that goes through our financial system back. Yeah, I haven't got a clear answer on that. And Alan has suggested that I talk to you, Bruce, and Donna a little bit further about how, if we want to progress it, how we would actually, if we did progress it, how that would actually work, because it's a bit complicated. Taking money for one group and then giving it back, and then if you did that for one, what does that look like for other groups that requested similar things? So there's still conversations to be had.
Right. My understanding was that there was money given to a national organisation, which then sent it off to the.
That's how they're funded, and I think Gary was telling me that funding model is changing.
Yeah.
But this is a specific for them capturing for them from the primary users that use their rescuing service.
I think a good example is like the National Cancer Foundation, which, on Daffodil Day, all that money goes to Auckland and someone decides where it's going to be distributed. But we have a cancer support group locally who sell all the books and things, and they target people in our community and the support they get directly. So from what I've heard from Gary, it's not a satisfactory, or not satisfactory, but it doesn't cover their needs the way the money is distributed nationally.
My concern is that if one group benefits, other groups might put their hands up.
I think it's an exceptional situation.
And in peak tourist time, that you can't deny that they're very, very busy.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people that come to that space.
I understand that, but again, I go back to the point that they have always argued that they have been shortchanged by their national group.
And that's what he mentioned to me, that funding is changing, that funding model.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to have another conversation.
Isn't this a conversation we could perhaps leave till we look at our concessions and things? Because one thing we have talked about a number of times is bus parking over there.
Yes,
And charging ahead for bus parking and then going to them.
yes.
And I think it's a subject that rather than rush into it, we should start looking at those alternatives too, because I'm mindful we've got the toilets and the waste disposal out there, which we committed a huge amount of money,
Yeah.
and that's got to be paid off.
Yeah.
And we've always perhaps looked at the buses for them, so I wouldn't rush it.
Well, this is.
No, Gary.
Separate to that, this is about people being able to donate specifically to them
Like, do you want?
via the paid
Yeah.
machines. This came up in
Do you want
February
to
from
add
Gary
donation?
Fitzsimmons. Can you pay for your parking and then would you like to donate?
Okay, sorry.
So this is a separate thing.
Like you do at the supermarket, where
Yeah.
you, do you want to add $1 on?
Correct.
the-
Well, is it technically able to be done?
This is what
That's
we've been asking the question.
You're
It's
be
February.
done with ease.
And I just need
What
to
Doug just said,
follow
when
up.
you go to the restaurant, do you want to have a tip? They changed the word.
Yeah,
So you get two,
yeah.
so it's easy from a finance and accounting point of view to split the money out that's been donated.
Then it's done.
So I agree, it's a great idea, but I take up the other points being raised is that if some other group comes along and sees a way of getting a tip for something they do, using our infrastructure, are we setting ourselves up? I think the concept is fantastic and it is there and the majority of people go there to go to the hot pool and some people swim. I think it's excellent. But given that there are people that don't want charging and they don't want other things, when some other group comes to us and says, well, we're a very worthy outfit too, and what about if we had the chance to make a donation as part of our parking? That we, at the moment, we're just talking about exclusivity for one organisation. So whilst I think it's a very good idea, we need to be very careful that we don't open ourselves up for other groups coming to us use the same mechanism to raise their money.
Kelly.
We say no. I think the Hotwood Beach situation is unique, and any other organisation, whether it's Sea Scouts or whoever that asks for the same thing, we turn around and we say no. That's a unique situation and it's targeted and has exceptional tourist stress put on it. We just say no to other ones.
Surely the head office should recognise that.
We will deal with them as they come in. Okay, so we still need to know whether it's
Yeah.
possible.
The conversations are not finished
Okay,
from our side. We just need to have a wider discussion on if we did want to go down that path, how that would be managed more than anything. And then we can bring it back to the board.
okay,
Should we go down that track?
all right. What does transferred meeting tracker mean?
So that means when the action is going to be coming to the meeting as a report or something like that, it goes onto our meeting tracker.
Okay. All right, so there will be a report coming back to the board on the last two items.
Assumingly, yep.
Yep.
We're waiting.
Okay. Okay. Any other comments? No? Did we get a mover and a seconder for this? No? Can I have a mover and a seconder for a report, please? Tony, seconded by Kelly. All those in favour? Opposed? None carried. Which takes us to item 5.2, which is our members' reports. Would we like to start at this end?
I had just a lot of conversations from people, a lot of phone calls and conversations related to Main Car Park. It's discussion as well, which was represented by Jan and Sharon. So I can't really add anything to what's already been presented today. It's all been related to what's been on the agenda. So that's a short report.
Thank you. Jeremy?
I attended the Mercury Bay Scouts ratepayers meeting last Friday, I think it was, Friday ago. And Tsunami Silence groups were being presented. It was a very low turnout. And I think there was a discussion around that. I think there was much educating the public as anything. I also attended a Hahe one on Sunday. Obviously, the hot topic was the parking, and had numerous phone calls and emails just regarding the parking really. And the Hahe skate park, I think everyone's sort of pretty excited about that being put in place. Hopefully,
Is it going to go ahead?
I think the intention is in as summarised, or was it written?
I'm not too sure, I'm not too sure of the timing, but the reserve management plan having been approved, allows for that to be progressed in some form, and I'm not too sure what, how that will be progressed.
That's really all right as well.
Okay, thank you.
No, just business as normal for me, so I've got nothing particularly to report.
Okay, Tony?
No, my,
Oh, you have a very extensive
I've
report.
got my written reports on those.
Yes.
And then the Mercury Bay South, Mercury Bay North and Mercury Bay Central meetings are all good. And I've got our one with Mercury Bay Central, yeah, pretty good.
Very positive.
And so upwards and onwards for them.
Great.
A string of phone calls from Linda Chumley-Smith, of course, about her siren issue. She promised to be here today, but she's not. Did she ring you by any chance?
I have not had a phone call. I've had some emails, but I haven't had a phone call.
Donna has been very supportive. Thank you very much.
She did email to say she wasn't coming today.
She didn't let me know. Okay, fine. All right. So I don't know whether that's a lost cause, but it jolly well should be. Yeah. I also had a fairly long conversation with a gentleman whose name unfortunately I wasn't able to capture about the parking charges. He said that he, as a ratepayer, wouldn't mind paying an annual fee, and I said, no, don't even think about it. It's on the agenda. Let sleeping dogs lie until the decisions are made. And apart from that, they've let me alone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bill. So yeah, I've had a meeting with Jan Wright and Sharon Morecambe with regards to a home for the arts. As Tony said, we met with the ratepayer chairs and some really good meetings and conversations there. I had a briefing from PowerCo about this these generators that they're bringing in. One for us will be based in Masarangi. It's a really good conversation, and they're just working to get that set up and established. I think there's going to be 3 across the district, Thames-Coromandel and Masarangi, but they're kind of very aware that they may need to put a little substation in Masarangi when the new development comes online. I would like to ask that we have a report on tsunami sirens from our emergency management unit manager. Come to us at our next board meeting. We can have a conversation about that. So if we could get that for our August meeting, that would be great. Lots of emails and calls about molluscs in Opito and Whangapā, and that's something I think that we'll be hearing more about. And also on the Jack Mills Reserve in Opito, I think I'd like to address the concerns of the community there. There's like an overwhelming response for them to have us look at the reserves management plan. So I'd really like to get a report as well for our August meeting, just looking at the amenity value of that reserve. If we could please do that. And that's it for me. So may I have a mover and seconder to receive the members' reports? Yes. Tony, Bill, thank you. All those in favour?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Carried. So that takes us to public excluded. So can we just stop that? And we need to